is Emerald Johnson, or Emmy for short, and I'm going to talk about what I learned in this course, Global Climate Change. First of all, let me apologize for the lack of quality in this video, but this is the best I could do. So, anyway, one of the most important things that I learned in this class is something that I already knew about, but I didn't realize how important it was until I took this course. And that is how much transportation is a factor in climate change. And the answer to that is very much so. One of the statistics in Professor Bloom's book said that half of the world's petroleum goes to transportation. So that definitely puts it into perspective for me. Even in the U.S. alone, petroleum is used for 95% of transportation. So, one of the obvious things about that is the fact that we in the U.S. rely so heavily on foreign sources to satisfy the needs for oil, the high needs for oil that we have, petroleum. And this puts a lot of pressure on foreign relations and things like that. But on a more environmentally related note, petroleum is a fossil fuel, so burning it will result in more greenhouse gases, which affects the ozone and all of that we learned in this class. So seeing how much we rely on that shows that this is going to result in harming the environment, adding to climate change, global warming, things like that. And only a small % of renewable energy is used in vehicles and transportation right now. But people are working on vehicle efficiency, not just in fuel source, but in a lot of different things, which is something that was also interesting. I didn't know that even different driving conditions result in different efficiencies for cars, so that was really interesting. But alternative fuels are being looked into more, and that's interesting to me, especially hydrogen. That seems like a really different idea, and it was interesting to see that it only takes a few modifications to a regular internal combustion engine. Whoop, sorry about that. But anyways, it would only take a few modifications to an engine to make it hydrogen compatible. But one of the problems with it is that you need space for storing the hydrogen as you use it. And you would need to store a lot of it if you were ever to compete with the MPGs of cars that are around, right now that aren't using hydrogen. So that's kind of a problem. But hybrids and electric cars are starting to get on the rise. I see more charging stations around, so that's a good sign. It's becoming more socially acceptable. So, another thing that I learned in this class that was really interesting that I didn't know anything about was global climate models. And it was interesting to see that they started off as literal physical models, and they turned into all of this mesh of math and data. And I was thinking about how stressful that job must be, to be one of those people who collects the data and does the mathematical equations, whatever is necessary for that. It must be really stressful, not just because it's a lot of work on your brain, but also because when you get those results, it might be kind of depressing at times, just in the direction that we're going with global warming and all that. So that job would kind of suck. But it's interesting to see that you could include any kind of external or internal factors into these global climate models, so it could satisfy anywhere in the world, and you can predict what the climate will be like in the future. So that's pretty cool. I learned a lot in this class, and Some things I was familiar with, some things I wasn't. I took an environmental science class in high school, so some of these things, I guess this course was like an extension of that, so that was nice to have. And I think that this information will be really useful to me. I hope to be an engineer, and I think that it's important to keep things like the environment and climate change in mind when designing new things for the future. So who knows, maybe I'll be a part of eco-friendly building design, or maybe even engineering new transportation. So yeah, that'd be really interesting. So yeah, it's been a good course, a lot of work and a lot of learning, and I'm glad I took it. So yeah, thanks.